Have you ever asked someone, why does my stomach churn when I'm nervous? Why does a good meal make my day 1,000 times better? Well, you probably don't know this, but there's an incredible connection between your gut and your brain. And yes, it sounds crazy. Okay, maybe not as crazy as the fact that some of the velociraptor noises in Jurassic Park are actually tortoises mating, but still crazy, right? And inside there, you've got a whole party of trillions of tiny creatures not just helping with digestion, but also having a chat with your brain. So by exploring how your diet, stress, and even your social life can affect this lively microscopic world inside you, we'll look at how you can improve the communication between your brain and gut, which will then lead to better ways of living your life. Eat well, live well. Apparently, there are tons of history books and ancient writings that talk about humanity's obsession with the state of the human gut. In fact, it was so crazy back then that in ancient Egypt, the pharaoh literally got himself a personal keeper of the rectum to handle all his enemas and help him cleanse his colon through this technique. Can you believe it? But then again, we've all heard the famous quote that all disease begins in the gut. Weirdly enough, there's actually some truth to that. Your gut's got a massive immune system, its own nervous system, which is kind of like a second brain, and lots of hormones and serotonin. Plus, it even talks to the brain through a nerve called the vagus nerve. So when you have a gut feeling, it's not just a saying, it's real. It's very real. Basically, your gut sends a ton of information to the brain, and even though you're not aware of most of it, it can really affect how you behave. As of now, scientists are studying its role in mental and emotional conditions like depression and anxiety. And that's exactly what Dr. Beaumont was able to see by observing a man's stomach that couldn't be closed up. He discovered that when his patient, Alexis St. Martin, got upset, his digestion slowed down. What's more, researchers have carried out some wild experiments with mice and found that by transplanting gut microbes, they could change behaviors. A shy mouse became more outgoing, a skinny mouse started eating more, and then one particular mouse even began to cook French cuisine. This makes us wonder about the power of gut microbes in our feelings and actions. It's exactly what you think it is. So we've covered the part that your mind and gut is connected, but there's one thing missing: your body. Quite a long time ago, there was this Soviet officer named Stanislav Petrov who got an alert that missiles were coming towards his country. But instead of freaking out and starting a full-blown war, he trusted his instincts and decided not to take action. Luckily, it was a false alarm. So how was he so sure about it? Well, just like how in old stories like A Christmas Carol, the characters blame their visions on food, people have always believed that what you eat affects how you think. And now science is showing us how our gut, brain, and body are connected. In fact, did you know that stress can affect you even before you were born? Basically, when you were chilling in your mum's belly, her stress levels at the time are most likely the reason why you react the way you do when you're stressed. It's like it can be passed down through the generations. And it's all connected to our microbiomes, the tiny organisms in our bodies. When babies are born, they get their first dose of microbes from their mums. So that's why stress responses run in the family. But please don't blame your mum when you're stressed. And what about that gut feeling we talked about earlier? Well, it turns out your gut communicates with your brain, and the microbes play a big role in that. Your brain stores info from the gut and use it to create feelings and reactions. And sometimes those feelings match up with what's happening, but not always. That's where your higher reasoning, like the prefrontal cortex, comes in. It helps you make smarter decisions even when your gut feeling might be off. So trust your gut and listen to it, but also use your brain to make the best choices. It's all about finding the balance between ancient wisdom and modern reasoning. Nurture your own microbiomes. Fun fact, there are only 5% of people in North America that are super healthy. But don't worry, it's not your fault that the odds are against you. A diet full of McDonald's, Dunkin', and Coca-Cola that's quick and easy to eat while we rush through our stressful days really messes up our microbiome and leads to some serious lifestyle disorders. So even if you haven't been diagnosed with an illness, you might be on the path to serious health problems. This brings me to my next point. Why can't we just copy these super healthy people's microbiomes? Well, it's not that simple, because as much as we'd love to, you should also know that each person's microbiome is unique. And diversity is important for good health, so for that we need to optimize our own. What's interesting here is that the same unhealthy American diet that causes diseases can actually make us feel less stressed and depressed. It's like a weird double-edged sword, and it's sort of similar to the behavior between cats and rats. Cats carry a parasite that makes rats attracted to their urine, and since the parasite wants to survive, it hijacks the rat's brain this way. And yes, you won't be seeing Tom and Jerry the same way again. Now, scientists believe that a few microorganisms in our gut may hijack our brain's reward system, making us crave fatty and sugary foods that reduce stress but harm our health. But don't worry, humans have the power of choice. So to be healthier, we need to nurture our microbiome, reduce unhealthy foods, eat fermented foods, avoid stress eating, take care of ourselves during pregnancy, fast sometimes, and of course, enjoy meals with our loved ones. These rules may not be magic, but they're backed by complex biology. So let's make conscious choices for better health and outsmart those sneaky parasites in our gut. So now that you know that our diet has a say in everything, share this with others who need help growing some guts. Pun intended. Or even, let us know in the comments some practical ways that you've done to improve your health through your diet. This way we can unlock a world of better health, happiness, and all-around awesomeness. Happy eating!